What's up, everyone? Hey, I know this is the same thing as yesterday, and I've got I'm trying to do these recordings back to back because I'm trying to clear up some time in the schedule. I've got some things I got to do. It's not things that I got to do. It's things that I get to do. I get to spend time with my wife, who's coming down and spending time with me and my kids, and she's gonna take care of me a little bit. I'm gonna need some caregiving, and she's gonna do that. I'm so blessed to have her in my life. So in preparation for that, I wanted to record a couple of these for you, so that way I wasn't leaving you high and dry when I'm taking care of myself. So here I am, back to back. This is right after the Too Easy Tuesday recording that I just did. So so what are we gonna do? What you gonna get this Wednesday? So this Wednesday, we're doing. It's really gonna be like a few things. What I I find myself telling my kids a lot is that you are too smart to be that stupid. So, and it's kind of harsh, but it's to get that knee jerk reaction from them. That's like, oh, what the hell? Like, what did my dad just say to me? Like, did he just say that I'm smart and stupid at the same time? Yeah, I did. And there are many things that we do that we are too smart to be that stupid about, and we allow ourselves to go down these roads of thought that make no sense and are not beneficial to us. And one of the things, so I enjoy, anybody that knows me will say this, I enjoy myself a good philosophical conversation. I do. I also acknowledge that it is a mental exercise more so than it is to gain practical gains in the world and to be pragmatic. It's more, like I said, it's philosophical. It's a big picture. It's almost energetic, and like I said, working the brain. It's like a brain game. Because I all of this I bring up because there are oftentimes you have conversations, and we're getting into the time of year where politics are a big thing. I'm actually doing this before Thanksgiving, and so y'all already had Thanksgiving, and I'm sure that there were a lot of fun political conversations that came up as families are joining each other that aren't typically there around each other all the time, and a lot of times we have a baseline conversations when it comes to that stuff, or many big picture ideas. A problem of the ought versus is kind of complex. So we live in the world that is, not in the world that ought, and we can discuss the world of ought, and that can be a fun philosophical game and conversation, and that's great. But if we're actually looking to make change, you have to look at the world that is, not in the world that ought. And so, if I want the most perfect society in the world, I can come up with that. I mean, I can't, and nobody can. Otherwise, we would have done it. But if I'm trying to create that, then you start from scratch. Like, I would do it this way, and I would have these people, and they'd be here, and they would do this, and these people would be responsible for that, and blah 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 blah. All of these things, cool, great, completely irrelevant because we're not starting from scratch. We're starting from exactly where we are. So if you want to have a real conversation about it, then you have to have a real conversation that starts with exactly where we are, and historically all of the things that led up to where we are now here. If you're not willing to have that conversation, you're not willing to be real about the good and the bad, then you're gonna sit there and spin your wheels, and you're gonna waste your time. And if you're into that kind of thing, and you want to waste your time on those types of silly philosophical conversations that aren't going to produce any change, okay, that's what you get. I mean, like, you get the enjoyment and the pleasure out of that. But if you're actually wanting to change people's minds and convert people to your way of thinking, you gotta start thinking about how you craft your argument, and crafting it in a way where you're creating this image of perfection based on things that don't currently exist. Like, what are you doing? When you base them on things that really exist, then you're able to identify problems that other people also identify, and people that they may not agree with you, but you start with that granular based a truth that you both acknowledge. The homeless problem is terrible, and you might you and the person you're discussing this might completely disagree on how to address that issue, but you both acknowledge the fact that this is real, and doing that with them and acknowledging the other person's point of view and their feelings about it is crucial for having a productive, meaningful conversation. And then it also goes to the pragmatic approach of developing relationships with friends and with people in the workplace, because these things can tear people apart. But if you understand how to walk that line where you can be like, okay, like, yeah, I definitely see what you're saying. Like, the homeless problem here is significant. There's a lot of people on the streets, and like, that's, I don't want anybody to be out in the cold, dealing with the inclement weather, as things are coming up, and begging for scraps of food. Like, I agree with you. Like, that's terrible. That is a terrible thing. And then so they're agreed, like, yeah, no. And so, like, they already have this this piece of them that takes you as being like, okay, he's on my side, and that's good. You develop that kinship and that bond with one another, that you can move on, and you can ask questions. And if you're willing to ask questions and have that be the driver of the conversation, you can figure out where they're at, and then continue to ask questions to figure out where they're trying to go with it. And a lot of times people will end up saying they're willing to be more open and honest with you because you're on their side. Like, I don't really know. It seems terrible. Like, I wish that there was something that we could do to help them. Like, yeah, I wish there was too. And then if you have your own beliefs, then you can work those in. But it's just that's one of the things that I take problem with, is where people start by creating something that isn't real as their baseline for like what matters in these types of conversations during this time of the year. I think that's kind of comical, and I just think that it's almost a child's version, a non-well thought out version of the conversation. It's like you heard a couple of opinions, and now you've morphed those opinions onto yourself, and now you push those out. But think about it. Just think about those things and what they really mean, and how you're going to communicate that effectively with other people. Because if you don't, then you're gonna burn those relationships, and you're never gonna actually get. If you're the type of person that wants to be involved in the community and wants to make a difference, you're not gonna do it by living in the world that ought and not in the world that is. It kind of goes back to the baseline of like the idea, like, you can have your goal, and your goal can be this utopian future, but if it is a goal, and you're creating systems in order to produce results for that goal, then what are they, and where? And so they have to be rooted in current status, the current situation. So identify where people are, because people may not be where you think they are. And so, again, it goes back to the conversation that we had yesterday on Too Easy Tuesday. Information is power, and what you do with it matters. That's where it matters. You have to start with a thought, but you can't end it there. If you do, you get nothing. Nothing will ever change. If you take action and you take it without information, then what are you doing? It's the same thing. You're going to end up with no results, and that's what you get. You end up with no positive change towards a goal that might be very mighty and very full of love and may help a lot of people, but you're not. Your end goal isn't supported through systems that make sense based on good, valid information. And so if you want to do that, and you just want to drive ahead and drive through the room, you want to be the bull in the china shop, and not worry about the world that is, and you just want to live in the world that ought, then the results of absolute no gain and no progress are what you get. But if you want real change, think about what in the current situation for people really is. Start where they're at and work with them to find a way forward. I appreciate you guys. I hope that you're having an amazing holiday season. So much love and appreciation from my end. I cannot wait to see you here again next week.